Hello everyone. On this day we are going to talk about random access files in Java. We heard about the file earlier. We said that a file is a place where we can store the data and we can access the data for the future use. So for having a file in Java, we are going to take the help of a stream classes, and if I use a stream class, we can only access the data in a sequential manner. We can even access the data in a random manner using a file called RandomAccessFile, which will be allowing us to access the data in a random manner, and we are going to do the operations depending upon the positions of a file pointer, and we are going to control the file pointer by using some methods, and this file pointer can move backward as well as in a forward direction. If I use a random access file, the file is being treated as an array. It means every element, every data which is to be stored in the file will be having an index. So taking the index, we are going to manipulate, or we are going to rewrite the data which is there inside a file. And one more advantage of having a random file is we can manipulate a particular file format at lower levels, like MP3 files, PDF files, even your video files and audio files also can be manipulated by taking the help of your random access file. So for taking the help of a random access file, we are going to utilize a class from the package called java.io.star, and we name that class as random access file, which will be taking two arguments while creating an object of your random access file object. The first argument will be the name of the file, and the second argument into this constructor will be the mode of the file, and the access mode can be one of the following values. The first one can be R. It specifies that we can only perform the read operation, and the second option we can give there is RW, which means we can read and write the data into a random access file. As we said earlier, we can even control a file pointer. As we said earlier, a file pointer is a place or is a pointer which is going to point to the index of an array, which we are going to rewrite or write the data into the file. So the first method which will control your file pointer is your seek, which will be which is used for moving the position from one position to another position within the same file. At the beginning, the file pointer will be at the beginning of the file. And the second method we can see here is a skip the bytes, which takes an integer as an argument, which is going to skip the specified number of bytes which are being given as an argument. It skips the data, it skips the bytes from the current position. And the third method we can see in this slide is your get file pointer, which returns the current position of your file pointer, which can be used for your further use. Now we'll see some of the methods which are used for reading and writing into a random access file. We can read an array, byte array, by using the method called read. We can have a byte by calling the method called read byte, and we can have an integer by calling the method called readInt. We can have a long value by having a method called read long, and for having a string we use a method called readUTF method. And for storing the data into a file, we use the methods called write, which will be saving the data from the byte array into a file. And for having a byte only, we use the method called writeByte. For storing an integer, we use a writeInt, and for storing a long we use writeLong, and for storing a string we use writeUTF method. Now we are going to observe a small code, small lines, a 4-line code which is going to read the data from the random access file. So in the first line, what we are going to do is we are going to create an object of random access file, and the name of the object is RAF. We'll create an object, and while creating an object, we are going to give two arguments into the constructor. The first one gives the name of the file, and the second one specifies the type of the operation we'll do on the file. In this line we are going to call a method called seek, and into this method we are going to give 1 as an argument, which indicates that we are going to send the file pointer to the first position in the file. Now we are going to create an array of bytes with the name bytes, and the size of the array is equal to 5. Now we are going to perform the read operation on the file called RandomAccessFile, and whenever I call this method, what my file pointer will do is it is going to read the data from the file, and the specified number of bytes will be specified as the size of your array, and the data will be stored into the bytes. And then we are going to close that array. Now we are going to show the data on the output screen by converting that bytes into a string. Now we are going to have a small code for writing some data into a file. Again we are going to create a file with a name called we are going to create a random access file. The name of the object is RAF. Again we are going to create an object. We give 2 arguments there, and now we concentrate on the second argument. We specified there as a read and write. It means that we can even read the data, write the data into the file, and also we can even manipulate or rewrite the data into the file. Now if I see this line seek, I give 5 as an argument here. It means that we are going to send the file pointer 5 I will send the control 5 bytes aside, and then we are going to write the data like COVID-19, which in turn converted into the byte array, then it will be stored into the file. Now we have a small code which will be appending the data into a file. Again the same way, we are going to have an object of random access file. The name is RAF, and then the access mode is RW. Now we concentrate at this line raf.seek, and into this method we are going to give an argument as raf.length, and whenever I call raf.length, it gives the size of the file. Suppose the size of the file is 20, so it returns a 20, and whatever the data I write into the file will be stored, will be saved at the 20th position of that file. Now here, now we are going to write the data after sending the control, after sending the file pointer to the end of the file. Now we are going to write the data called data, and this data now will be written at the end of the file. It means we are appending the data into a file. With this we conclude some information on random access file. Thank you.